Welcome to Activations with JJ, special Winter Solstice energy updates. In this episode, I will talk about the importance of reflecting during solstice, also calling in goddess energies to help you during this time of change, and finally, all of the different ways you might potentially experience a post-solstice timeline shift. Hello, my friends. Thank you so much for gathering with me to co-create this episode around this time of solstice. Now, I understand that some of you who are listening may actually be going through summer solstice, but I set the intention that whenever you are listening, that this will be able to assist you on your ascension journey as I bring through some of the themes that I feel drawn to speak about approaching this solstice, some of the ways that we can take advantage of the solstice energies to help us shift and move and take steps forward on our ascension journey and during our soul evolution. First of all, I want to go ahead and mention that this has been an incredible year. 2022 has been one for the annals of history. Energetically, I know that many of us who are empaths, starseeds, healers, light workers, we know we've been going through it. This has been a year of a lot of ascension symptoms. And it's interesting because looking back, I actually believe that some of the quote unquote rest we got during the pandemic was important for us to as a precursor to what we experienced this year. We obviously, a lot of places released the lockdown and all of the stipulations and things. And so people were traveling, doing a lot more. I know we were able to get out in community and in crowds. And I think we needed some of that time that we spent drawing within during the pandemic in order to deal with what was happening during 2022. Now, traditionally, solstice can be used for that same thing. It is the darkest day of the year, so we are being called to draw within, just as we did during the pandemic. Many people had their awakening during the pandemic. And so I want you to remember to take some time and sit in an energy of gratitude for what you experienced over these last few years. I feel it's of value. In fact, my guides recommended me to take time and reflect on what has happened for me personally over this last couple of years. I have seen incredible things. I have experienced so much expansion and growth in so many ways. And I truly feel the need to just take a breather and look back, because I think it's so valuable for us to reflect and to sit in that energy of gratitude. So I want to invite you to do that first here as we approach the solstice. Use this as a time of gratitude. Something else that I felt drawn to do was to call in goddess energies. I even felt drawn to create a gathering, which I would love to have you attend, taking place on the day of winter solstice for the Northern Hemisphere, the 21st of December. And I've called in a lot of goddesses to begin to prepare me for this activation. So again, that's a gathering you can attend, and the link is below. But this goddess energy is extremely potent. And one of the reasons why I feel like it's coming through so much lately has to do with the way we're calibrating to receive all of the upgrades. The goddess energies are very, very well suited to prepare our bodies and our energy across the board. As I've worked with the goddesses, and I've worked with lots of them, many of you actually experienced during the 7/7 portal and around that time period, all of those one-on-one goddess activation sessions that I did, and even just the one that I did on the 7/7 portal. And I am so grateful for having done that. I was able to connect with so many goddesses, and a common theme was helping people shift through change. In fact, when we had all of the lunar eclipse sessions, it was exactly the same. That lunar energy, that some of the feminine energy is lunar, some of it's solar, but in that particular instance, I felt the energy of Luna, who I believe is an ascended master goddess. That is the moon. She's a soul embodied in the moon. And I felt that was also all about change. Sekhmet I brought through. And I think that was at the 8-8 portal. I mean, all of these goddesses came through to escort us through these times of great shift and great change. And I want you to I want to actually extend an invitation, okay? I want you to consider sitting and meditating, and it could be during this time of reflection that you do, or gratitude. And I want you to consider, maybe you could take out a deck, if you have an oracle deck with goddess information on it, and pull a card or just meditate upon which goddesses you would like to co-create with during solstice. Now, the solstice opens before the day of solstice and closes after the actual day of solstice. You will feel the energies begin to crescendo and then decrescendo. So you can start, anywhere between 4 and 5 days before the actual solstice and finish anywhere between 4 and 5 days after. All right, so that's kind of an invitation I want to make, is to connect with those goddess energies. I will again have this Kuan Yin transmission that you can listen to on the day of solstice. And I would love for you to look back at some of the other goddess transmissions that I have on my YouTube channel that might be beneficial for you during this time. Another little piece of information that's come through as we head into this solstice is all about a fresh start, okay? A clean slate. Now, for some people, I believe that will come before January 1st. I believe that it will come in the wake of the solstice. So between the 21st and January 1st, you will have almost a rebirth period where you are going to feel that you have this clean slate. It feels more like a new timeline. I don't even like using the word clean. It feels like it has programming. It feels like, oh, it was dirty before, but honestly, it just feels like you're shifting into a new timeline. I feel that a lot of you are going to be shifting into a new vibration. That is what the goddesses are going to help you do. They are literally going to infuse your essence with the energy of your next highest timeline. And again, I felt drawn to do these 2022 Akashic Records inventories. And I think that's exactly the same thing that's happening. It's all related to this fresh start, to this new timeline, to assisting our energetic bodies to come into and step into a new vibration and hold that vibration. Sometimes we can drop in and out of vibrations, and that's those kind of awkward periods that you feel when you're sort of jumping back and forth between timelines. That's actually necessary. So if you've been feeling really weird lately, a lot of the symptoms that come through when you're jumping back and forth from timelines are brain fog, exhaustion, forgetting things, like kind of feeling like you're in a dream, which is sort of brain fog. Those are the symptoms of calibrating. Let me put it this way. You're calibrating to your new timeline. So it's just like, this is kind of a funny analogy, but I'm going to use it anyway, okay? It's like tempering eggs, okay? If you've ever cooked with egg yolk and like you're making a lemon meringue pie, I've only done this way. I'm sorry if you don't know what a lemon meringue pie is. You can look it up. But you have to take the egg yolk and you put it into a hot mixture, but you only put a little bit of the hot mixture in first. Because if you don't, the eggs will literally scramble. They'll become scrambled eggs, and you don't want scrambled eggs in your lemon meringue pie. So you have to temper the eggs. There's also a process of tempering in a lot of other things. I believe it's used in metalworking. So you may understand that process of tempering. You are being tempered to your new timeline, okay? You are being calibrated. You are jumping back and forth. There may be also weird things Spirit is guiding me to tell you with relationships with people. I'm very, very sorry. I can feel kind of this weird disjointedness with your relationships with people where you feel like everything is fine and then it all crumbles. And then everything is fine and then it all crumbles. Hold fast to the vibration of your new timeline. Keep holding the faith. I feel like I need to tell you, endure, have patience. It will happen. Work with those goddesses. Everything will be ironed out. Try to release the need to only love the times when everything's running smoothly. There's this programming we have. I think it's like religious programming, also cultural programming, that only when you're experiencing like complete bliss and there's no problems, that is what you are going to value the most, because your soul did not come to planet Earth to only experience that smooth sailing. Your soul came to experience the rocky roads. It's kind of like a roller coaster, my friends. I'm not saying your life has to be like a roller coaster, but if you went on a roller coaster where it was just like flat the whole time and you went in a circle and then you got off, you'd be like, what? That wasn't very fun. It's the same. You've got to learn to enjoy the ups and downs and the loop-de-loops. You've got to reframe it, is what I'm feeling. That is the key to sailing through this next little bit. When you come out on the other side, there will be a period of rest. It's not always going to be loop-de-loops and crazy up and downs. There will be times of rest. I know that some of you feel, I can hear you because I'm connecting with you telepathically as you're listening. I can hear you. And some of you are like, I am so tired of the ups and downs and the loop-de-loops. All right. So for you, let's set the intention that you can get to the sort of smooth, straight track of the roller coaster for a while. And then you'll get bored of that. And then you'll want the other. Now, the smooth, straight track and the ups and downs and loop-de-loops are all different. It doesn't mean that the loop-de-loops are trauma and drama and like depression and anxiety and all of those emotions that we judge harshly. It doesn't mean that. You can have the loop-de-loops through really fun things like going on trips and unexpected gifts and unexpected things that are manifest. But there's also going to be times where you have grief and you experience sadness and disconnect from people. Change. That's what changes. That's what changes. So I want to invite you again to just sit back and consider all of this stuff that's dropping in right now, because it's coming directly from your guides to prepare you for this time of change, of solstice, as we usher in a new phase of your soul evolution. That's what we're doing. I encourage you to get a new journal. I felt drawn to ask everybody who's doing the Akashic Record inventory with me to get a new journal to bring to our session. And we will activate that journal with the vibration of their new highest timeline. And I want to invite you to do the same, even if you're not doing a one-on-one Akashic Record session with me. If you're going to go to your Akashic Records, which I highly encourage you to do, I want you to do the same. I want you to grab a journal, a brand new one. You haven't written in it yet. And set the intention to activate those pages and whatever comes out on those pages to the vibration of your next highest timeline. I know you've seen it. I can feel this in a lot of you. You've had visions. You've had psychic visions of this future timeline. And some of you are confused because you've had psychic visions of more than one possibility. And I want you to remember you're a multidimensional being. And you don't need to be pinned into one outcome. There may be 5 outcomes that are beautiful for you. So allow yourself to sink into all of them. You know, sometimes your timelines depend on other people's free will. And if their free will goes the other way, then you have to reset. That's why you need options. You need more than one possible timeline. Because if it depends on somebody else's free will and that goes to pot, then you still have another timeline where it's going to be joyful. It's not necessarily about the details. It's about the vibration that you're holding. The vibration is the outcome that is your highest timeline that can manifest itself in 20 different ways. And so as you have all of these, I don't want to call them backups, they're just options, then you know that no matter how other people behave, you're still going to experience a beautiful next highest timeline. I feel like some of you are a little bit afraid of that and a little bit afraid of not experiencing it with certain people. But sometimes you have to honor their free will. That's what this planet is about. When you came to this planet, you were told you will have free will and so will the people around you. And some of these people, you have soul contracts with them. And even Dolores Cannon has mentioned this in her books. You had a soul contract with somebody, but I'm not saying they didn't keep their end of the bargain, but they didn't keep their end of the bargain, or it didn't play out the way you thought. And so you have to release. You've got to let them go. You could have had a full-on detailed vision of a timeline that you were going to spend with that person, and all of a sudden, because they're going through rough times too, all this energy is getting to them too. So you have to hold space for that and be patient with their soul. They kind of did a a complete 180 and you're like, what the heck is going on? Why did they end up going over there when I thought I saw it? I saw in a vision that this was going to happen. I was told by my guides that this could happen. But that's the thing. That's the thing about all these multiple timelines. Right now, it's a little bit of an interesting thing, as these timelines, like some are falling away and they're falling away quickly. But that's why you have 5, 10, 20 different timelines that are all going to end in beautiful joy for you. I promise you. Most of the people that I've been working with lately, and probably most of you who are listening to this, are vibrating such that any outcome that occurs is going to be amazing and beautiful. The details are going to be different depending on which one you choose. But my guides keep telling people, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry. There is not a right track and a wrong track. Release the idea of a right track and a wrong track. That's super, super important right now. Okay, I feel like I've just sort of sprayed all kinds of solstice information out here in this podcast. And we're going to take a quick breather. Take a deep breath. Integrate. Receive that which you need. Release that which you don't. And I just want to let you know that I am so grateful to you for choosing to co-create this episode with me. Please be sure to check out my Solstice Activation with Kuan Yin, which is also on my YouTube channel. And I hope you have a beautiful solstice. I'm sending you so much love and reminding you that I am you and you are me and we are we. Until next time.